Hi, I'm Lily.
And I'm Greg, and welcome to If Walls Could Talk. This is a mini web series funded by Creative Ireland, and for the next few weeks, we're off to visit some historical sites around Ireland, so we can share our history with people all around the world.
Some of them are old, some of them are creepy, and some of them have almost disappeared, but they've all got a story to tell.
We're here in the medieval town of Athenry, County Galway. The town gets its name from two words, Ath, meaning ford, and Ri, meaning king, which makes up Ford of the Kings.
This town is home to some historical monuments and sites, such as Market Cross, Dominican Priory, and Athenry Castle, which is where we are now.
When was the castle built?
It was built in 1235. As an important strategic position for the Anglo-Normans that conquered the area. Their names were the de Birminghams, and the person that built the castle was Milo de Birmingham. Castlán by Athenry, that's the native name, people call it, but other people call it a few things too. Locals call this King John's Castle because it was built in honour of him, but he died in 1216. And then other people call it Birmingham Court, because the road around the corner here is called Court Lane, and they used to hold court in here. So it's three different names, but today it's Athenry Castle.
Are there any ghosts living here right now?
Well, never say never, but really is the people. You can imagine people in the 13th century, in the medieval times, living in this place. Like there would have been kind of, as wars, people would have held court here. They would have storage in this particular place where we are, the basement. They would have accessed the Great Hall through the basement by a trap door just over in the corner there. So this was an area of storage of food. And so never say never, there could be ghosts here. We call this building the Keep. And the Keep was where the people, the de Birmingham family, would have ate and slept and held court here. So when they excavated the castle, they found birds of prey, like peregrine and falcon's bones. So that high status, they would have found an awful lot of deer bones. That means these people had power and prestige of this area. They found a bone comb for combing your hair. And they did an analysis of the soil, what people had eaten. Especially here in the castle, they had a great diet. They would have their own preserved jams, not a lot of meat, whereas people in the town of Athenry only had meat at Easter and Christmas. They would have had their own servants as well. They would have kept their own animals out in the town of Athenry. The water source was the River Claren just outside, and there was no fireplace ever in this castle. They had a medieval bathroom as well, called a garderobe, only for the de Birmingham family. Not only that, it was their toilet, it was their wardrobe. So we get the word wardrobe from. Their wardrobe was, they would have hung their clothes in there. Why would they have hung their clothes in there? It'd be awful smelly, wouldn't it? No, because the ammonia, the waste from the ammonia, it's pure sterile. So it was like their dry cleaners of the day. They would have taken the fleas and the bugs off their clothes. So we call it a garderobe.
How is life for teenagers?
If you lived in the castle here, especially women, would have been taught needlecraft, girls, needlecraft, tapestry, how to run the manor. When the lord was gone, the lady took over the ring of the manor, whereas boys would have been pages and squires. And of course, they would have learned their lessons in one language. They would learn their lessons in Latin. Medieval laws all passed through Latin, so Latin was very important to have.
Were there any sports that were played?
They loved their chests. They would have played, of course, they would have done sword fighting. They would have done horses as well, and falconry, especially falconry, birds of prey. They would have taught all that. Boys would have taught that, becoming pages as well, and squires.
That's amazing.
How were the walls painted without any paint?
In medieval times, they used a solution of horse hair, pig's blood mixed together with limestone. Because not only the solution together provided much needed light, as you can see, it's nice and bright today, but if the door was closed, it's very, very dark. But secondary, most important too, the whitewash on the wall preserved the food that was stored in the basement against algae and moss growing on the wall. So it's like the refrigerator of the day.
Wow, that was great being inside an actual medieval castle.
Absolutely. Well, that's all we can fit in for this week. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we'll see you next week. Bye!